his eyes by a vampire, go figure. His family kind of deemed him the invisible boy. So he basically lost his entire family when that happened, and nobody believed him that it was a vampire, except for his Uncle Abraham, who shows up to say, hey, by the way, you're also a vampire slayer. Come with me and I'll teach you how to kill these things. So he goes with him, but the problem is that every single night since Cecile died, Joss is tormented by nightmares. I'm going to read you one of those nightmares, because I love them. After I read you those nightmares, I wanted to leave lots of time for a few questions, because that's my favorite part, and I'm greedy. So, without falling down again, which I actually do often, I fall down, I spill things, it's just kind of who I am. It's part of my charm. Okay, so this chapter is innocently called Picking Flowers. In the distance, Joss could hear someone humming. The sound was soft and sweet and reminded him of home. Though he was certain it had been night just a moment before, daylight filled the clearing now, illuminating every inch of the forest as far as he could see. Standing, Joss followed the lyrical sound of the humming until he came upon a field of wildflowers. A young girl was crouched in the middle of the field, plucking purple flowers from the ground and placing them in a bunch grasped tightly in her left hand. Her blonde curls were pulled up in a ponytail that just barely brushed against her tan skin. She was wearing a yellow sundress that reminded him of the color of his mom's kitchen. He knew the girl, but feared speaking her name out loud, because something was wrong with this scene, but Joss couldn't quite put his finger on what it was. Cecile, what are you doing out here? She turned her head to the side at the sound of his voice, but didn't speak. Joss wasn't certain why, but he was relieved to see her cheek clean and tan. When she went back to picking flowers, he crossed the field, daisies bouncing against his ankles as he moved closer to his sister. Cecile, what are you doing here? Mom wouldn't want you out here, you know. I'm picking flowers, Jossie. She turned her head up to the side again to glimpse her brother. Joss's heart skipped a beat. Something was on Cecile's cheek. A dark line. It looked like blood. Then he remembered. Cecile was dead. She was dead, and it was all his fault. He slowed his steps, stopping just a few feet behind her. His fingers were trembling. Why are you picking flowers, Cecile? To take them with me. She turned around then. Once again, her eye sockets were black, soulless tunnels. Deep within those dark tunnels, Joss could see flames. When she opened her mouth to speak again, a large centipede crawled out. There are no flowers in hell, Jossie. Joss shoved his sister away. He felt terrible for doing so, but he was so frightened he could hardly breathe. His chest tightened in panicked breaths and he backed away. You're not in hell, Cecile. You're not. Cecile crawled after him in a twitching hurry, her mouth oozing all sorts of insects, her eyes devoid of all life. She clutched his ankle, crying, "Oh yes, I am. And you put me there, Jossie. You did this to me." Her tears disappeared quickly as her mouth contorted into a grin. Inside her mouth were fangs, fangs covered in blood. So as you can see, it's clearly a romantic comedy. And there are sparkly, fluffy bunnies and unicorns all through the entire book. I've been told before, wow, the Vlad books got darker as you went on. Yeah, I continue that trend. So I really like dark books, and I feel like they're interesting, and they really